So this is like a continuation from 2 other videos. If you haven't seen those, I didn't want to just create one long video, so there's like 3 parts. This is like the 3rd part on demonstrating greatness, daring to be great. What does that actually look like, feel like? And after, if you watch the other videos, you'll know that I was sharing a little moment of being triggered and diving into my pain and wound and frustrations and outer projections, and the journey back to myself was a very beautiful one. And this is a journey back to myself. It might sound a bit like journey back to openness, let's say. So out of the fear that I was in, out of the closure, out of the stickiness, out of the not knowing how to communicate transparently, out of the self-judgment and projection of judgment, I was able to catch myself, which is what we call celebrating the catch. Huge lizard just ran through there. We call celebrating the catch, and I'm sharing the celebration of the catch with you, basically. This is what this is. This is me sharing the celebration of the catch. And in the catch of you know, having a sharing with Dara and having some stickiness and having a little bit of, you know, what I call, I don't even like to say the word arguing, but a bit of, you know, not being very nice in my actions, and looking at it when I'm in it and going, this isn't how a beautiful divine friend would show up with another friend. I wouldn't be like this with my friends. So why do I feel I can be like this with the woman that walks by my side? And then noticing my actions in that, and then not liking them, right? And then judging them as well, judging myself in them, and saying, you know, this isn't greatness, and look at you, and da. So rather than going round and round in that loop, I was able to break the loop. And as I broke the loop, and then I did my morning pages this morning of writing, because I was trying to articulate what I was feeling to Dara in this instance, and wasn't really coming through, and she had her own different perspective and wasn't seeing it the way I was seeing it. And it was like, okay, so even in this sharing, I'm not being able to articulate. And then I just stayed with myself this morning, and then it came full circle, as always, back to demonstrating greatness. Like, how does my greatness show up? How do I talk in my greatness? How do I observe in my greatness? How do I greet people in my greatness? What do I wear as my greatness? How do I wash my body and caress my body? How do I make love to myself in my greatness? How do I breathe in my greatness? How do I communicate in my greatness? You know, this journey, as Philip Shepherd would describe, in this radical wholeness, this realization of being, you know, this fully, you know, embodied, engaged, aware being of all that is going on internally, externally, and all that is happening, and having a real, you know, aliveness and presence and intensity, but with integrity. You know, it doesn't mean being intense in a sense of like being overpowering or over, you know, trying to control or anything like that. No, we're talking about, I can be soft, vulnerable, and expansive. It's okay I can communicate softly and clearly to express my message. I don't have to get caught up in my pain and be aggressive or rude or obnoxious or ignorant or unconscious. I don't have to fall back into that space. And so that was really the outcome of this dive inside. And maybe this video is just a little call to you on that. You know, there's a lot of talk out there about daring to be great, or, you know, whatever, living to your fullest, or yeah, walking as a sovereign being. You've heard me talk about this a few times. And how is that showing up for you moment to moment? How is that being exercised in your day-to-day life? And it can be from the smallest thing. It can be Yeah, it can be the way you're dressing yourself in the morning, the way you prepare your house, the way you tidy your house, the way you keep the kitchen clean. In permaculture, it's called Zone Zero, where you take care of the, the kitchen, and when the kitchen is clean and looked after, the rest of the house and your internal being is clean and looked after. Might be your morning practice. You hear me talk about the golden hour, and I realized in this little dive that some of my practices that were helping me with my awareness and keeping plugged in were dropping away a little bit. And I spoke to Dara about this, and she could see that too. And our priorities had gone somewhere else, which is fine. But then with I often say to people say to me sometimes, "Oh, I don't have any time," and I reply to them, "It's nothing to do with time. We all have the same time. We all have the same amount of minutes, seconds, and hours in the day. What has to change is your priorities." And so when I talk to people and they say to me, "Wow, how do you fit all this in?" or "How do you do your golden hour?" and which has now become really the golden 3 hours. That's the morning where the phone is off, and I get up and I do morning practices of some kind, whether it be, whatever, a whole list of things: meditation, sharing, reading, writing. It always includes some sort of movement. It would be some sun salutations, a yoga sequence. Maybe I watch a yoga sequence, maybe some high intensity training. And for me, mostly it will include some listening to a meditation, or sitting in silent meditation and practicing Vipassana, or just focusing on the breath. And within that, sometimes that's like an hour and a half. Sometimes it's half an hour. Sometimes one of the meditations I do is 26 minutes, and then I listen to an audio that really plugs me in. I might listen to a beautiful song that I just feel in the moment is what I need to hear, and so on. So that golden hour is my way of choosing to plug myself into greatness, clean off any noise that's maybe trying to stick to me, and then allows me to go out and engage in life. And it also helps me clean what I call the antenna and the receptor of this electromagnetic being that I am, in order to receive and express life through me. So it's like a energetic clearing. It's like taking full control and responsibility for your energetic field, which is huge. And I noticed that, okay, when I'm dropping into these places of acting the way that I have acted in the last few days a little bit, and still noticing that I tried the pain body tries to beat itself up or beat me up and play that card, I'm now realizing, okay, as always, this is just come back to center. Breathe, relax, come back to center. Or there's another one: spot it, stop it, come back to center. And I'm sharpening myself with those tools, okay? And I've been practicing many of these practices for many years, and so I'm sending this out to you guys today, saying that don't be hard on yourself. Decide what practices you choose to plug yourself in, and hopefully maybe this 3-part video is giving you a little insight into how I rewire myself, or how I break any patterns of closure and fear, and then bring it back to exuberance, inner peace, softness, and openness. From closure to openness. That feels pretty complete. Sending you love. Thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for sharing and for being alive at this time and having an interest to rewire and be the leading examples of the new generation. Create the more beautiful world our hearts know is here right now.